Welcome. Today is October 27th. The time is 1:34 p.m. My name is Amy Croto, Senior Natural Resource Officer, Shellfish Constable, and Hearing Officer assigned to today's dog hearing. On October the 10th, a letter was hand-delivered to Aaliyah Sylvia at 17 Washington Extension, addressed to a Cleo Howard. Dear Cleo Howard, I've scheduled a hearing under the provisions of Chapter 140, Section 157 of the Massachusetts General Laws on Friday, October 27th, 2023, at 1:30 p.m. based on a complaint received regarding a dog harbored by you. The complaint states that the dog is vicious, which is in violation of the Town of Barnstable dog regulations, specifically for Chapter 403-15. The hearing will take place at Town Hall, 367 Main Street, Hyannis, Mass. In the Selectmen's Conference Room on the second floor. You'll be given every opportunity to be heard at this time. I request that you make every effort to attend this hearing. Sincerely, Mark S. Ells. If you are planning on providing any verbal testimony today, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that the evidence you're about to give in this matter is the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Excellent. So first off, we'll hear from Mr. Michael Murray, the complainant. Explain to me what's going on.
Okay, on, I think it was September 26th, I was walking my dog, and I usually walk him in the neighborhood, and on a leash, and we were just returning home in the house across the street, where I was just passing by there. It was dusk, and without notice, the dog, who was standing beside the owner at the time, jumped over the fence like the fence wasn't even there. And before I could move, it had my dog, who at the time is only 5 months old, by the neck, and it severely ripped its neck open to where it's had several surgeries so far. And at the time, the owner begged me not to report it and claimed she would pay for it. And I was really upset, and I said, I hope that the dog officer comes and shoots the thing, because I was so mad. And then I was concerned about my dog because he was bleeding pretty bad, so I rushed him to the vet hospital in Bowen, where he was there several hours. And I have heard nothing from anyone over there other than the mother who owns the house, because I've contacted an attorney and we're taking legal action. And other than that, I was told that I was taking it personal, so they would not compensate me for any of the damages. And my biggest fear has always been, because the dog's always there, and it's always there, and I have a 7-year-old granddaughter who's now 8, who's always at my house. And we walk downtown and take walks. She used to go with me when I walked the dog. Luckily, she wasn't that night. And my biggest fear is that we're going to be walking by, and she's going to be mauled by a dog. And a couple of the neighbors who, I know this is just for me, they were afraid to come testify because they've been threatened. So
I can't, obviously.
I know. So, but, because it's been an ongoing issue with the dogs. I mean, the fence.
So this is, just to be clear, this is specific to one dog,
Right,
a Great
yeah.
Dane that attacked your
My
shepherd?
pup, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So this doesn't have anything to do with any other dogs that
No,
don't
not at
belong to
not
this
at
family?
this hearing.
Correct,
In
okay.
future hearings.
Understood, yes.
But it's like, every time I pull in the yard when I have my granddaughter, I have to wait and look to make sure it's safe to get out of the vehicle. And I've been doing that for a while, and I'm tired of doing that. The owner of the house told me that the dog was removed over to her parents' house, but I've seen it there a few times, and that's my biggest concern is now that after all of this and it calms down, are they going to bring it back?
This is the Great Dane you're speaking about? Okay.
So, and the fence around the property, the wind blows too hard. Well, it's so rotted, it blows over. the front fence, the dog jumped over it like it wasn't even there. I mean, it went over that fence like it wasn't even there. And I'm just very concerned for my granddaughter, who now she won't walk with me because she's afraid. And I have a fenced-in yard for my dog, which is, he's just a puppy, but, so I just want to know what's going to be done for safety.
Okay. So Victoria, Shaylin, and Cleo.
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
Bauer's owner, well, part owner.
Okay. So I'll take testimony from any of you at this time. Just make sure you say your name first so that it's recorded which person is talking.
So I'd like to go first.
Okay.
I would like to state that the day of the incident, I never begged him not to call animal control. Neither of us knew what was wrong with our animals. And I know that as a dog owner, I'm responsible when my animal gets out of my yard. So I said, if there was something wrong with your animal, I will pay for it. And then he did not just say he hopes the dog officer comes over and shoots my dog. He actually threatened me and my animal. And I told that to the natural police officer that arrived to my house. So I don't know if he put that in the report, but I did speak with him, and that's what I told him. I would never beg anybody to not take legal action or do whatever they feel like they need to do. I'm a grown adult, and I make my decisions just as I hope everyone else in the world would do the same and stand on their decisions and believe in them.
Okay. So just to be very clear, the dog hearing that we're in for today is to determine whether or not, what is the name of your Great Dane?
Bauer.
Bauer?
Yes.
To determine whether or not Bauer has, a dangerous or
Yeah.
vicious
So
disposition.
this is-
So this stuff,
Okay, no, I
words
just
that are
wanna-
exchanged in
Okay.
heated moments between neighbors.
Yeah.
That's not specific to the actual nature of the hearing.
Yeah.
I understand that those emotions often come up in these types of hearings, but aren't
Pertaining directly to the situation.
exactly.
Absolutely. No, I completely
So
understand.
tell me more about Bauer, the nature of the
So,
incident.
Yeah, he did. He got over the fence. He's a pretty big dog. He's pretty athletic. I take pretty good care of him. I feel like me and my boyfriend. And he did get over the fence. And I don't know what happened. I know that when the natural police officer came to my house to explain to me the situation, he told me that the dog had a laceration and that it warranted 4 stitches, which I said, okay, you know what I mean? I told the natural police officer, I will pay the vet bills. I have no problem. I know that that's my obligation in this state of Massachusetts per the law, that it's property damage. I'm responsible for the damage. I will pay that. And Bauer has never been in trouble before. He has never exhibited bad behavior. I have so many photos of him. He's talking about being concerned about his granddaughter. I have a million photos right here of him with children, babies on the floor that are, no more than 4 months old, just sitting there. Like, he's not a violent or vicious dog.
Does he have issues with other animals?
Yes, and that's something that we have discussed with the vet, and he's almost 4 years old, and there's never been an incident. I have done my absolute best as a dog owner to do my due diligence. I don't bring him to the dog park. I don't bring him places where he could be around another dog. If we go to the beach to go on a walk and I see another dog there, we leave and find somewhere else. I have never, ever tried to put another dog's life or another at harm's way. Me and his vet that he has had since he was 10 weeks old has discussed this, and his vet said, you just have to do your part as an owner to make sure you keep him away. I've done that for almost 4 years. I know that this isn't something I'm taking lightly, and this isn't just a little accident. It's a big accident, and I know that I'm at fault for it, and I'm sorry, but Bauer's not a mean or vicious dog. And now, since this incident, he doesn't live with me full time. He's me and my boyfriend's dog. My boyfriend lives in Mattapan, where he's registered to at 44 Richmere in Mattapan.
Do you have proof of such?
I don't have, my boyfriend, I didn't know, but he let it lapse. So we just got it taken care of. We're just waiting for the tag to come into the mail at his house in Mattapan.
And then when you get that,
I can
you
bring
provide that to animal control? Okay.
Yes, I can absolutely provide that to animal control as soon
Okay.
as it comes. It should be within, I'm hoping by Monday or Tuesday.
Okay.
Because it said like 5 to 7 business days.
Okay.
So I can provide proof of that. He is me and my boyfriend's dog. He stays between me and my boyfriend's house. My boyfriend just moved back to his grandmother's because his grandmother and his mother are sick. So he can't have the dog there full time. They already have another dog. So he does his best to take him as much as he can, but there's another dog there. There's a 96-year-old woman who's on hospice, and his mother's like almost 75, and she just had major back surgery. So it's not easy for him as a 27-year-old man to do all of this with them and still work and still be able to take care of the dog. So I know that it's, and I never, and the dog does go to this is my stepmother, and my dog does go to my dad's house all the time. I work for Cape Cod Healthcare. I work at urgent care. I work 10-hour days most of the time. Bauer's never outside when I'm not home. He's usually at their house or in my bedroom. I don't just let my dog run around and free and do whatever he wants, because I know that he can get over the fence, the 4-foot part. It's not a matter of being able to afford to fix it or not. That's just not my forever home. That's why I haven't fixed or done anything to the fence. I rent a room there. I plan on moving very, very shortly anyways. And I have now done I just don't let him out now. Like now he's not out in the yard unless he's restrained by me on a leash. I have not one time since this incident happened. I followed all of all of animal control's rules. I did not break anything. I kept him in the house. I've done everything I can. I don't let him run the yard free anymore, so that's not something that he's gonna have to worry about anymore, because I know now after this incident that that's not an option for me. I can, if it would make him feel more comfortable, I will buy a wire, like an above ground electrical fence that covers just the area that he can jump from, because we do have a 6-foot fence and a 4-foot fence. He cannot get over the 6-foot fence. He can get over the 4-foot fence. I have no problem buying an electric fence that covers that 4-foot area if that would make him feel more comfortable in the neighborhood with my animal around. But again, like within the next probably 6 to 8 months, we will be out of the neighborhood. Like we will not be living there anymore. Well, I'm hoping to be in the next 6 to 8 months, be out of this neighborhood, so this won't be a problem anymore.
Understood. Shaylin or Victoria, do you have anything you'd like to add?
So Bauer does come to my house all the time when Cleo has to work. Oh, sorry, Victoria Hardy.
Thank you.
Sorry. Bauer does come to my house all the time when Cleo has to work. I live in basically an apartment type scenario, but I do have like a backyard and everything, and he has a runner at my house, and there's other children around. There's no other dogs that live like right on the premises, but there's dogs that are on either side of the fence that surrounds my yard. Bauer doesn't interact with them. He doesn't bark at the fence. He doesn't anything. He's, great with the kids. If, a rabbit ran across the yard, would it probably get his attention? Yeah. Does he think squirrels are interesting and try to get them out of trees? Yeah. He's a typical dog as far as that goes. What I think Cleo should have explained, which hasn't really been brought up, there are 2 other dogs that live at that house. So it's not that he's not great with all dogs. They're 2 bigger dogs, and he does fine with them in the yard. And I think right now, because of this incident, it's all being put on Bauer. But Bauer's not the one that runs in the yard all the time or is outside all the time or anything like that. Cleo is very responsible when it comes to that. She's taking him for walks. She, does everything to try to exercise him, because he is a very large dog, and he's a goofball. But if Bauer had a dog in his mouth and out around the neck, he's such a big dog, I can't imagine that we would be talking, and I think it would be a much worse situation if Bauer had gone to the dog and tried to rip it apart. I think Bauer's trying to figure out what it was, not that that's an excuse, but I just don't I think that a different resolution that can come to this than everybody trying to pin everybody's dog as the bad one. I think that responsible dog owners, we should be able to come to a resolution, because, everybody loves their pet. And
that's why we have these types of hearings, is to try to find a resolution that works for everyone. Like to be clear, the days of like exiling dogs, removing dogs from a household without somebody actually surrendering them, it doesn't happen anymore. So it's more recommendations on behavioral changes that it sounds like some of the things that would be recommended you're already potentially implementing. So just to be just to make sure everyone's on the same page about that. This is, this is why we have these hearings, is to address these issues as they come up and to find a resolution for such.
And I do know one thing that we've talked about helping Cleo out as a family is maybe trying to get him some, working with a trainer. Cleo had talked to the MSPCA about a program that they have to help with that and stuff. So that's something that we're going to look into further. Unfortunately, right before this had happened, Cleo had been in a car accident, so we've been trying to help her with all of that, and then this happened, and Bauer's very important to her, as a companion, as he's, been there for her and everything like that. So I think it's, really important to see a good resolution to the situation.
Okay. Shaylin?
Yeah, Shaylin Hardy. So Cleo got Bauer almost 4 years ago, and I kind of wanted to also touch on what he had said about his granddaughter. She mentioned that she has a bunch of pictures, but yes, he has he's not the best with smaller animals. That's why, like both of them said, we try to keep him away from situations like that. But as far as children go, there has never been a problem. There's been babies there, there's been toddlers, strange kids. Never has he exhibited aggressive or dangerous behavior towards a child, and this is the first time that we've heard that somebody complained about his behavior. We have 2 dogs on either side of our backyard fence. I live with Victoria, she's my mom. We have 2 dogs that neighbor like the fences, and when they bark, he just stays on the leash in the backyard. When he's in the house,
I was just gonna say, matter of fact, one of those dogs is one of those dogs on either side is a Great Dane, and she sometimes has gotten loose from her yard and come over, and they've interacted and never had a problem.
So it's smaller.
I think
Yes.
it's smaller animals.
Yeah.
Anything
not-
like that.
He got
that gets
attacked
attention.
by my uncle's cat when he was like, I don't know, probably 12 weeks old, and she scratched his cornea in his
he's been,
eye and stuff. So he's just been very unusual about little dogs ever since, and that's why me and the vet had come to the resolution about just me being extra careful about being him around little animals and things like that, just because anything could happen. And I really have done my best. He'll be 4 in December, and I've really tried my absolute best. But when it comes to children, I would if you guys want to see some photos, there's no question or doubt in my mind that he would never, ever, ever hurt a child or a person. Ever.
Understood.
say my name again?
No.
Okay. Where was I? Oh, yeah. So smaller dogs, he's not, smaller animals are just not his thing. But again, we try to keep him out of situations. And what happened with Mike's dog is very unfortunate. And I do, feel really bad because that, shouldn't happen to any dog. But that's the first time that anything has happened. He's never been in trouble. There's never been complaints at Cleo's house, at our house, by anybody. Neighbors, people coming over, parents, anyone. So he is very well behaved, and Cleo does do everything she can to make sure that things like this don't happen, or that people can't say that she doesn't take care of him or he's dangerous. She brings him to the vet. He has all of it. He's had surgeries on things that she didn't know what they were, so she brought him in. He needed surgeries. She got those. Vaccinations, she got those. Neutering, she got that because when he was a puppy, because he was all over the place and kind of not unpredictable, but just super high energy. So she looked around for advice. She got him neutered. She does everything that she can when she's home to make sure that things like this don't happen. When he's at our house, we make sure that things like this don't happen. If somebody's not home, whether he's with us and we're not home, we leave him inside the house so we make sure that he can't get out. When she's at work, he's either inside or he's with us. Like she said, she rents a room. Her roommates don't even bring him out because she's very particular about who she lets watch her dog and take care of him so this doesn't happen. Because like she said, her fence is very short. At our house, in our backyard, it's a little bit bigger, so he has a runner and he can't jump over the fences. So she's very careful, and always has been, even when he was smaller, about the things that he can and cannot do. Never off leash, never anything.
Just like a child,
No, he really is my son.
Something
I don't
happened,
have kids, and I had a pretty crappy life, and this dog means the world to me. So I've really done my best to just make sure that he stays safe and other things around us stay safe as well, because I know that he's a large breed mixed animal, and I know that people are going to judge him no matter what just because of how he looks and how his size is. So it's always going to be his fault no matter what in any situation. So I really have done my absolute best to try to make sure he just stays safe and other things stay safe around him. And I am willing to make any changes that are recommended to make sure that this doesn't can continue to be a problem, and also other people can feel at ease with the fact that they feel he may be a little dangerous or whatever. But I just want, Mike, I just want you to know your granddaughter would never be like your granddaughter would his granddaughter would never ever be in danger ever.
Understood. Okay. Animal control.
I'll start. Senior Animal Control Officer Lewis, note for the record that I hand-delivered the hearing notice to Leah Silva on 10/5 at 11:20 a.m. I received from the Cape Cod veterinarian specialist the information required when an animal is treated for a bite or a wound of unknown origin, indicating that the dog known as Cody was bitten by a neighbor's dog that jumped over the fence, deep laceration to the right side of the neck. And Officer Manchip, he responded on the afternoon of the event, and in his report, he basically stated that he appeared, took the statement and advised that an animal control officer would be following up. He identified the homeowner as Leah Silva, and then Officer Sherman followed up from there, so I'll let Cindy discuss from here.
Cindy Sherman, Animal Control. So yes, Antonio, Natural Resource Officer, was the original party who investigated, and the incident that occurred on the street, as everyone has acknowledged, that the dog jumped over the fence and went after Mr. Murray's dog. When Cleo was understood that the dog was on quarantine, I went back the following day and issued the quarantine order to her in person, at which time she, understood that the dog was not allowed to be left outside unattended. The dog had to be leashed, things like that. And at that time, the dog was released after the 10-day quarantine, and I also spoke with Mr. Murray. And fortunately, his puppy is healing well, and we had discussed, the hearings to see what we could come up with for some solutions to, again, like you said, make everyone feel better and comfortable about the situation. And basically, that's, pretty much all that's been said. The only thing, I do have one question. Is your address in Barnstable?
It's in Hyannis, yes.
In Hyannis, so I just kind of was like to know where the dog is when it's not at Cleo's
Yep,
house.
I'm right over on Crocker Street, in between Camp Street and Yarmouth Road.
What's the address?
31 Crocker Street.
31 Crocker, thank you.
Yeah, I have that on the sign-in,
Okay, thank you.
should you need it.
Okay.
And we haven't had any, I just have the initial report of NRO Mancha responding, and then you following up, releasing the quarantine. We've had no subsequent
Correct.
calls.
Correct. This is the only incident I've had with this particular dog at that address.
Acknowledging that there are
I have
dogs at the
one, yeah, because I
residence.
was gonna say, one thing that wasn't mentioned either is that, there was a pretty serious dog fight in our neighborhood not too long ago. And
actually.
nobody, wanted to petition to the town to make those dogs dangerous. And then another one of our neighbor's dogs ripped off our neighbor's dog's nose, and that dog is still in our neighborhood and runs around sometimes and gets off his leash and will walk the neighborhood. And no one's petitioned to make that dog dangerous either.
I understand, but that's, that's on the people who have
involved, not you.
had
Yeah.
those experiences and whether or not they wish to request or pursue a dog here.
No, I know. I'm just saying, though, that no one's in the neighborhood's done that either. So it's just, if my dog's so vicious, I don't understand how these other dogs are not so vicious as well.
I
That's
actually
all.
think what's more
So
important to be said about
I'm just
those
going to
dogs.
ask everyone to stop right here because we're specifically dealing with this one
Yeah.
incident. Any other incidents that have occurred on other properties with other dogs in the neighborhood, unfortunately have nothing to do with what we're doing here today. And I can't consider as corroboration, for Bauer.
One thing I was going to say about the other things that happened even at her house with the other dogs, Bauer's never even been present when anything has happened. That's
At my
I just
address.
want-
At my
Again,
address.
No, I'm just saying at
I'm
that
not
address, he's
going to
never been
take
involved in
any
anything.
notes on any of this because it's not speaking to the issue at hand. Animal control, do you have anything else?
No. Like
Okay.
I said, this is the only report that I have of this particular dog.
Okay. Charlie?
Just a point of information, when you say the dog is licensed in Mattapan,
Yep.
state law and town regulations require that if the dog is here 30 days or longer, it must be licensed here. So I would suggest licensing them in both places.
Okay. I didn't know you could. I didn't know that was an option. So okay.
Mr. Murray, do you have anything to add?
Well, my biggest concern all along has been the safety.
Okay.
And I mean, if, I don't want the dog put down, I mean, at first.
We
I
can't
did.
make that recommendation anyway.
But I'm just saying, I never, I just want safety. I'm more concerned about my granddaughter, my dog, myself. There's no reason that I have to live. I've been here 22 years, and there's no reason I have to live in fear of getting out of my own vehicle. So that's my biggest thing that I wanted addressed.
Understood.
So,
Okay. Anything else to add? Okay, in animal control, we literally just spoke, so you probably don't have anything else to add in this. Okay. So, we've heard everyone's testimony specific to this situation. It does sound like there's a resolution that will result in safety, feelings of safety being restored. So at this time, it is 2 p.m. I will close this hearing and forward a recommendation to the town manager for review. Typically 7 to 10 business days turnaround on that. We do notify both parties, correct? Yes, so both parties will be notified when the town manager order is issued. Okay?
All right.